Hello, thanks for tuning in. I've got a short video for you today where we're going to take a look at how quick and easy it can be to port a Unity game over to the Windows Phone. Now, I put this video together for a few reasons. One, I really wanted to show off how quick this could be. When I'm out demoing this to user groups and stuff like that, they're constantly saying, wow, I didn't expect it to be that quick. So I thought, hey, I'll highlight that in a video. As well as a lot of times people ask me the exact steps that I walk through when I'm porting this over in my talks. So I thought, hey, I'll put it up on YouTube and then everybody can kind of check it out on their own. So that's kind of why I put the video together. Hopefully, you get something out of this and it kind of sparks you to go ahead and port your game over to the Windows Phone. So let's go ahead and get right into it, and we'll dive into Unity. So I'm just going to open up my Unity here. So here I am inside of Unity. Now this is just a default project that I've created, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've imported the 2D platformer tutorial that Unity gives out. This is the one that they released when they put the new 2D tools inside of Unity. This one, just is your average, and you can download it from the asset store. I use this one just because I know it ports very easily, and it's one that we've all seen. If you have your own game, you can feel free to try it this way, or any other project that you might have laying around. So I'm just going to go down here to my project, and I'm going to open up the scene that they created. So let's go down to my scenes folder here. And here you can see the game runs. This is just, again, like I said, just the default one that we've probably all seen from the 2D platformer tutorial series that we put together. This is the game that we're going to actually go ahead and port over to the Windows Phone. So I'll just pause it there. So here we go. We're going to go up to File, and I'm going to select Build Settings. And I'm just going to scroll down. Now right now it's set to PC, Mac, and Linux standalone, and this is the default that Unity builds it in. But we want to build for the Windows Phone, so we're just going to scroll down so we see Windows Phone. And I'm going to go ahead and select that. I can click the switch platform here, and what it's going to do is it's going to just do a little bit behind the scenes optimization for that platform. Now there's one last thing we're going to do before we build. We're going to actually change the orientation so it's landscape. Right now it's set up in portrait mode, which doesn't really play well for this game, so we'll change that real quick. So I click my player settings here, and you'll notice right here in my inspector, the first one on my list is resolution and presentation. By default it is set to portrait here. I just clicked it back because I've been playing around with it. But by default it's set to portrait. What we want to do is change it to landscape. So we're going to click the drop down, and then we're just going to go to landscape left. And that will set it to be landscape left by default for us. So that's the only change that we're going to make right now. There is other options in here you can play around with at your own leisure, but for now, in the simplicity of this video, that's all we need to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Build, which will then open up a dialog and ask me where I want to store this build folder. And I've already created a folder called Build, so I'll just select that and hit Select Folder, and now it's actually going to build out our project. So we'll give it a few seconds here. It won't take too long, depending on the size of your project. And once it finishes up, what you'll see is a Windows folder dialog pop up, and this is basically this is when it's finished. If you see this, it means you don't have any errors and you're ready to go ahead and open it up. If it doesn't build right away, if you see some errors, like if you're using your own project or another project from the asset store, the first thing you're probably going to want to check is your plugins. Generally, this is where a lot of the issues come from when you're porting your game over to different platforms. It's because a lot of plugins were built for either one platform or a few different platforms, iOS, Android, whatever it might be. So your plugin may or may not support the platform that you're trying to port to. So the first thing that I always do is I check my plugins to see if they're compatible, and if they're not, I always reach out to the developer of the plugin to see if they have a workaround or a possible fix for me. So yeah, definitely check your plugins. That tends to be where most of the pain points are. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our build folder, and in here you'll notice I now have a Windows Visual Studio solution. So let's go ahead and open up that Studio solution. So in my case, I'm using Visual Studio Ultimate 2013. You could use Community Edition or Pro, depending on what you have. You're going to need to have the Windows Phone SDK installed. I'll make sure I have a link to that, but those are only the two major requirements, is that you have Visual Studio and at least the Windows Phone SDK installed as well. So that's going to go ahead and open it up inside of Visual Studio. Just give it a sec here. Now once it's loaded in, I'm not going to change any code, much like I did in Unity. I'm not going to change anything because I wanted just to basically show you the simplicity of this port. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and right away you might notice I have release selected, and it's because I've been kind of messing around. You can do it with debug, but I tend to push it out in release when I want to see the finished product. So release is the one that you're going to actually use when you push up to the store. Over here I've selected a emulator, so I just click the drop down and I selected the 1080 6-inch emulator just because I know it's big and it looks nice. So I selected that one, and all I'm going to do is just click run on it, and it's going to go ahead and open up the emulator. Well, it'll build it out and push this to the emulator. So just in a few seconds here we'll have it deployed. So there's my emulator that pops up. And there's our game loading. And you notice it right now I have it set in portrait, but our screen's set to landscape. That's because of the change we made. So I'm just going to hit rotate there. And there you go. There's the game running. Now I can shoot and everything. Now the reason I can shoot is because the shoot mechanic was bound to the mouse click, which is actually a single touch on the emulator or on the phone. So I can do that, but currently I can't move around because I don't have any input controls. The game was set up for the keyboard, and obviously I don't have a keyboard. So there are a couple of changes that I need to make in order to make this ready for the store. But that's generally it. That's how quick and easy it can be to really port a game over to the Windows Phone platform. So hopefully, yeah, like you've learned a little bit from this, and hopefully it's kind of like, blown your mind and you've thought, wow, I'm going to go ahead and port my game. So thank you very much, and I hope you have fun and happy coding.